Good afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille show. It's good to be with you on a Wednesday, live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world. A forecast that did not come to fruition, 12 inches of snow in a winter wonderland for my nearly 3-year-old boy. I bribed him to try to get him to go to sleep. I said, son, if you go to bed, if you don't cry, if you sleep through the night, if you do not demand to sleep in mommy and daddy's bed, it will be a winter wonderland in the morning, and you can put your new snow pants on, get your new sled, and have some fun. Wake up, first thing he does is he looks for Elf on a Shelf. We have an Elf on a Shelf going on. His name is Dash. He comes down to our living room from the second floor, trots downstairs, scurries downstairs, looks around the living room, tries to find Dash, points Dash up. My wife hangs Dash, nudges him in the windowsill. Says, there's Dash. Then he sprints to the window. Where's the winter wonderland, Daddy? Snow? Snow? What business, I'm going to ask you this genuinely. Can you give me a business where you can get things right 30% of the time and still keep your job? Baseball, Major League Baseball, if you hit 300, not only do you keep your job, you're probably going to be voted into that year's All-Star game. Weather forecasting, those are the only two that I can think of. You go 3 for 10 from being right, and you still keep a check every 2 weeks. The only two I can think of. Welcome to the program. It's good to be with you guys on a chilly, rainy, and icy Wednesday afternoon. It's December 16th across the world. The Commonwealth in a county in Virginia may be the Looney Tunes capital of the world. And that's not even is the word hyperbolic, Judah? That's not even hyperbolic. That's not even hyperbolic. I'll tell you why Campbell County, Virginia, Bob Good, 5th District's Bob Good, Congressman Bob Good, he was there. He's a part of this, Looney Tunes. I'll tell you why Campbell County may be the capital of Looney Tunes in America shortly on the program. Folks, did you know the weather that's going on outside has canceled virtual school? Explain that to me. Explain that to me, please. We have a forecast that called for snow. The forecast that called for snow, it never materialized. It's raining and icing. The kids that learned through this thing in their pajamas while wearing a hoodie, while doing arithmetic at the kitchen table, a little geography in the coat closet, maybe some AP US history on the bed, maybe some geometry while sitting on the pooper. They're at home. Virtual school was canceled today for Albemarle in the city of Charlottesville. Can someone explain that to me? That topic's coming up on the program. Dairy Market with the grand opening. We'll catch up with the fabulous Jody Mills inside Dairy Market. Yesterday was a fabulous day for a project that I predict. We were talking about this with Keith Smith of the Yes Team Realtors yesterday on Real Talk. I'm going to ask you this question. Can you think of a development project within Charlottesville city limits that will have a greater impact on the city of Charlottesville than Dairy Market? And why don't we put it over the last 20 years? I first arrived in Charlottesville, Virginia as a precocious first year. That precocious and pursuit for higher education very quickly dissolved as I found cold beer and beautiful women on the grounds of Thomas Jefferson's University. In the last 20 years, when I first arrived in Charlottesville as a first year, is there a project from a development standpoint that will have a greater impact from an economy and overall culture standpoint in Charlottesville than Dairy Market and Dairy Central? I want you to tell me which ones they are, because I think in the last 20 years, this is right up there. The only development project that could potentially challenge Chris Henry, Stony Point, Dairy Market, and Dairy Central from an overall positive impact on the community, the only one in my mind that I think can challenge Dairy Market and Dairy Central is what Alan Kajin and Gabe Silverman did when they redeveloped Midtown, the area between the UVA corner and the downtown mall. At one time, Midtown West Main, was sketchy. You didn't walk there at night. If you're a UVA student, young person, you avoided it. You partied on the corner or you went to downtown. You did not do Midtown. Alan Kajin and Gabe Silverman really helped make Midtown, along with Peter Castiglione and Christian Kelly at Maya Restaurant. Maya was first. They proved the model that a restaurant could have success in Midtown. Then Kajin and Silverman, the developers and the visionaries, R.I.P., rest in power, Gabe Silverman. Alan Kajin, the globe-trotting attorney with a primary based on the West Coast and massive portfolio of ownership in the city of Charlottesville, thanks to his friendship with Gabe Silverman. Kajin and Silverman made Midtown. Public, Oakheart, shenanigans, that Reed Wealth financial practice that's on the market right now for, what was it? Was it $9,000 a month or whatever it was? I told you the price of that on the I Love CVille show last week. So we'll talk on the program today, and I want your opinion, please. I don't have all the answers. Please let me know. Please put it in the stream. Please let me know. Which development projects in the city of Charlottesville, city limits only, please, in the last 20 years will have had or have had a greater impact on the city than what Dairy Market and Dairy Central is about to do? I think it's only Midtown's development, but change my mind. We have Denver Riggleman to get to on today's program, the congressman, the libertarian, the husband and wife tag team of Silverback Distillery, a man who speaks his mind. Denver Riggleman, a one-term congressman, now really being frank and honest. He said he's leaving the Republican Party, Riggleman, splintering away by saying, Joe Biden's the president, Trump stop talking, let's move forward, and let's get to work with Biden as the man in the White House. Riggleman's saying that. Riggleman's saying the Republican Party needs to dramatically change. Riggleman's saying that. Riggleman now is no longer running for something. So he's speaking his mind more than ever, and that's why I love Denver Riggleman. That's why I love his libertarian mindset. Now, that being said, my friends, get ready for this. Riggleman has written a book on, what do you call those things, Judah? A book on Bigfoots. Thank you. A book on Bigfoots. And in this book that he wrote, and I love Riggleman, man. Riggleman's come on the show. Riggleman's the man. He's got good booze. He's a dude I would want to sit next to a bar and have a beverage with, drink some cold beers at Peloton Station, have some wings with Curtis Shaver. But if I'm sitting at Peloton Station with Denver Riggleman, drinking a cold beer and having some sweet and sweaty wings, I'm going to be asking, I'm going to be like, yo, Denver, you got this book coming out on Bigfoot, and I'm sitting next to you at the bar, and I got to wonder why you're talking about Bigfoot and Bigfoot genitalia. More of that to come on the program. It is so peculiar and so odd, especially for a man that I think is technically still in Congress. I mean, he's out now, right? Is good is taken over, as we say. Can we say there? I mean, a guy that's freshly removed from Congress writing books on Bigfoot erotica? It's a little peculiar. More on that coming up on the program. We'll talk UVA and Villanova. Folks, that game doesn't look like it's happening in Madison Square Garden. Multiple outlets are reporting the UVA game is going to be postponed, potentially canceled for good. This is a matchup of marquee teams, and it's because COVID is ravaging UVA's men's basketball team. I mean, we may not see UVA back on the hardwood until they open ACC regular season play at the end of this month. I mean, we could go darn near a month without seeing Tony Bennett's boys play basketball. That story coming up. Lynchburg School Board suspended sports at least till mid-January. Sweet Green, the salad chain, is rolling out drive-thrus. That is a sign of things to come, and we'll tell you why on the I Love CVille show. Danville has approved $15 million from Caesars Casino. Folks, Danville, Virginia is in so much need for economic stimulus. They, in a landslide vote approved a Caesars Casino for Danville. Gambling's coming to Virginia. Get ready, it's coming. Weed, cannabis, the hippie lettuce, landscaping, shrubbery, you name it, it's coming to Virginia. Get ready. Whether you care about this or not, you have no choice. Gambling and weed are coming to Virginia, and potentially as early as next year, we'll know where. As early as before halfway next year, we could know where. Okay? So Caesars is trying to do a Caesars in Danville. Danville said, hell yeah, we need economic stimulus. They've already approved $15 million of the Caesars front money. And that $15 million of the Caesars front money to get a casino in Danville, that junk has already been spent and allocated. They've already taken the $15 million and said, we're doing this. We're buying Granny a neck warmer. We're buying little Johnny a new bike. We're buying Susie a trampoline. Daddy's getting a cigar humidor. And Mommy's getting a bottle of Hendrick's gin. On top of that, a police station will build in Danville, Virginia. They've already spent some of the money, $15 million of it. So much to cover on the program. Crystal Napier on the show. Candice Vanderlyn on the show. The lead of the program is got to be a place that I saw on the Cartoon Network last night. And I was surfing and streaming on Roku and on Apple TV. I click over to the Cartoon Network, and on the Cartoon Network, right around 10:15 at night, I can't get to sleep. And I swear the Cartoon Network is doing a 30-minute episode on Campbell County, Virginia. Get it on screen, Judah Wickhauer. Campbell County, Virginia, we explained to you on this program, said no, Governor Ralph Northam. Absolutely everything you're trying to do from a restriction standpoint in Campbell County, Virginia, we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to go inside to bars and restaurants. We're going to booze. We're going to drink beer. We're going to have wings and burgers. And we're going to party. We're going to do the electric slide. And we're going to do it till last call. And last call in Campbell County, Virginia is 1:45 in the morning. We're going to get together in groups of 100 people or more. Hell, we ain't going to worry about masks when we get together. And we're going to do it at all hours of the night, including 2 a.m. Yes, sir, Campbell County, Virginia. Them folks, and this is where Bob Good's from, Campbell County, Virginia. Bob Good was the board of supervisor in Campbell County, Virginia. In Campbell County, Virginia, the board of supervisors said, COVID is a phony pandemic. You don't have to wear a mask in Campbell County, Virginia. You can be in groups of many people as you want without wearing masks. And you know what? Let's go to Clubhouse Billiards, the billiard saloon. And let's have some Sam Clay bourbon and drink some Bud Heavies while we eat some food without masks in a poorly ventilated restaurant. That's Campbell County. That literally is happening. Everything I just said right there literally is happening right now in Campbell County, Virginia. And the shocking thing, this might not even be shocking. Guys, anybody that watches this program, anyone who watches this show knows I'm a libertarian. Anyone who watches this show knows I'm fiscally conservative but socially liberal. Anyone who watches this show knows I don't want the government in my pocket. I don't want the government telling me what to do. I don't want the government telling me how to run my business. I don't want the government telling me how much money I should pay them. I'm a libertarian at heart. I work my ass off, and the amount of taxes that I pay on the 3 businesses that I run at the Macklin building would freaking astonish you, nauseate you. All that being said, the libertarian at heart understands that partying in restaurants without mask on, with strangers that you don't know, that aren't a part of your pod, going on the record in a press conference setting on camera behind a microphone when you're a newly minted congressman, and telling the entire world where cameras are rolling that COVID is a phony pandemic. And yes, that happened. And yes, it was Bob Good. That is Looney Tunes. You know, a couple of days after Ralph said in the press conference that no one could get together from midnight until 5 a.m., Campbell County was swarming together in groups of hundreds of people just to, my grandma, my Cubana grandma, Mima, Romelia Gomez, she used to go like this. Hey, carajo, coño. And do the chin. That's what they're doing to Ralph. Campbell County. Nuts. Snow has canceled virtual school today. Explain to me how virtual school, where our children are learning in their pajamas while their elbows and kneecaps are on their beds and they're bundled under the blankets and they're learning through computer screens. Explain to me how virtual school gets canceled because of inclement weather. That's a new one. That's a new one. Explain to me how virtual school gets canceled because of inclement weather, because it happened today. Now, you can make the argument some people have to drive to ISPs, to hotspots. They have to drive to an internet service provider. I get it. But how much further back do we want to put children? We have a spring semester that was crap learning, a fall semester that was marginally better, and we're taking snow days off when you wake up and there's not a snowflake on the ground, and we're calling it a snow day for people who learn through a computer while resting on their bellies, on their blankets in their bedrooms. Very, very peculiar. There's a lot of peculiar behavior on today's program. A lot of peculiar behavior. The other strange behavior is my boy Denver Riggleman. Put it on screen. If you have not read the article in the CVille Weekly today, I very much encourage you to. In fact, when this show is over, on the Facebook page or the post that you're watching now, Judah Wickhauer, our director, will include the links to the stories we're talking about. In the article in the CVille Weekly, Ben Hitchcock, the editor, the very young editor at CVille Weekly, does a book review on Denver Riggleman, yes, Congressman Denver Riggleman's new book. The book title is called Bigfoot, It's Complicated. The premise of the book is about 2 Bigfoot excursions Denver Riggleman paid for. According to the article, Denver Riggleman went into the woods after giving large sums of money to a Bigfoot guide. And this Bigfoot guide was, according to Denver Riggleman, unscrupulous. He was shady. He was sketchy, lacking character. And Riggleman, on 2 different trips, 2 different excursions, 2 different times of going into the West Virginia woods, after paying thousands of dollars to do so, to hunt, yes, for Bigfoot, realized the guide was a little sketchy. It's freaking Bigfoot! In the book, Bigfoot, It's Complicated, and this is straight from the CVille Weekly, I'm going to read 2 paragraphs from this article. This is the weirdest freaking article I have ever read, and it's not because of the writer, because it's the topic matter, and the topic matter is much more dynamic because it's a U.S. congressman. Paragraph that I want to read from CVille Weekly, Ben Hitchcock. Before we dive into whether or not Riggleman manages to teach us anything, I have to note that this book is absolutely jam-packed with Bigfoot sex. I mean, it is just so horny. Riggleman says he's not a fan of Bigfoot erotica. Riggleman says, I do not dabble in monster porn, although my wife does call me her silverback. That's more than I need to know, Denver. I don't need to know that, Denver. He continues, and this is a line from the book. This is so weird. How could someone kink shame those gentle souls who take delight in the soulful, passionate moan of Sasquatch? Denver wondered. Then he proceeds to talk about Bigfoot's massive pecker and the fact that we would have to fight scores of salivating Bigfoot mamas from peeking from behind trees ready to mate, probably running their grotesquely rigid nipples against tree bark, end quote. I'll stop right there. You have to read this article. He's not running for a second, well, he tried to run for a second term. The Republican Party took it away from him. We have Bob in his place, and now he's like, I got nothing to run for. Let's just let it loose. Read this article. It's weird. Like, weird. We'll put it in the package when this show is over. A couple of items out of the notebook before we get to Crystal Napier here in about a couple of minutes. Let's hear from Jody Mills. Judah, do you have that sound ready to go? The Dairy Market grand opening was yesterday. Now, not all the stalls have opened, but a lot have. Chim, Angelique's, Dino's, Take It Away Sandwich Shop. We caught up with Jody Mills. She's on Stony Point, the development team, and helped making this a reality. She's been there from day one. Chris Henry and his crew have done a phenomenal job. And we'll talk later in the show on projects that have a greater impact in the city of Charlottesville in the last 20 years and compare and contrast the Dairy Market and Dairy Central and this project. Let's catch up with Jody. Judah, give that sound to me in 3, 2, 1.
Do you know what? The smells in here right now are so phenomenal. You can smell every good smell that we've been waiting all this time for. Here's your move through. Can you see your move through, guys?
Oh, I'm an ice cream fan.
Very nice. Jody, let me throw this question to you. How's the mood with the team? You and Chris and everybody over there. How's the mood with the gang?
You know what? We're ecstatic. This is, I keep saying to people, it's like I've been pregnant for 2 years, and it's now finally time to have the baby, right? So, excited, super excited. Yeah. And Chris was our first customer today. He was here and morning. Dino made him and his family dinner last night, and it was fabulous. Some rotisserie chickens. Dino's will be open today with his rotisserie side. Take It Away is open today. Jim will be open tonight. And Angelique is here. They're all cooking, getting ready. So this is fun stuff.
I'm excited.
That's Jody Mills. Jody Mills on Real Talk yesterday with Keith Smith, myself. That show airs Tuesdays and Fridays on this network. Fantastic real estate show. I learned so much from that show. I have learned so much over the 2 years from Keith and the people he brings on that program. It is like an MBA for real estate in Charlottesville and across Central Virginia. Still to come, Katie West. We'll catch up with Katie West, the general manager of Charlottesville Settlement Company. Charlottesville Settlement Company has done incredible innovation and incredible pivoting. Charlottesville Settlement Company hired a teacher to teach the children of staff, to keep staff happy and working efficiently. As a result, Charlottesville Settlement Company, already the market leader, is enjoying the best year in company history in 2020 amidst the pandemic. A couple points I want to emphasize, and Katie really emphasized these points. The best year in company history for Charlottesville Settlement Company happened at a time when there was less volume from a transaction standpoint because we have an inventory pinch. So if there's less volume from a transaction standpoint because of the inventory pinch, and the company still has its best year in the history of the brand, what does that mean? That means the company took business away from other people and brought it into their business, and that's why they have the best year in company history. We will talk about that with Katie West. Still to come, Candice Vanderlyn. Still to come, drive-thrus coming to the salad corporate chain, Sweet Green. If you're doing a local restaurant and you plan to open a local restaurant in Charlottesville or anywhere in Central Virginia, I beg you and borderline implore you to integrate a drive-through point of sale. I will beg and perhaps implore for that drive-through integration. That story is coming up. When Taco Bell, when Sweet Green, Starbucks, and I'll give you a handful of others, are revamping their entire fast casual point of sale model, quick serve model, we better start doing the damn same thing as entrepreneurs and businesses on the small and medium-sized local level. Justin Fuente will not be fired in Blacksburg. Lynchburg School Board has suspended public school sports. They will be on ice until mid-January. Bankruptcy on the near horizon for the #1 cinema theater chain in the world, and that's AMC Movies, the #1 bankruptcy on the very near horizon. They have to figure out a way to come up with $750 million when no one is going to movies. The reason I'm going to bring this topic up to you is anybody that is counting on the foot traffic from movie theaters around Stonefield, 5th Street Station, or the downtown mall, better read the tea leaves and follow the national trends. Because the value proposition of being next door to a movie theater ain't what it used to be before COVID. Hell, before COVID, Apple TV, Roku, Netflix, and Amazon Prime were eroding the industry because people would rather sit on their couch and watch on the comfort of their home in their tighty whities while wearing their UVA lacrosse jersey and their tighty whities in a robe that is not strapped all the way, that is free-flowing with a 3-notch Minuteman, an angel's envy, and a beautiful wife next door, and a baby monitor that shows a soon-to-be 3-year-old sleeping and not crying through the night, and not asking to go to mommy and daddy's bed, because if the 3-year-old goes to mommy and daddy's bed, daddy gets kicked out and gets sent to a bed that's not as comfortable. How does a 3-year-old have so much power over people? How is that possible? He weighs 30 pounds. He's 3 feet tall. He's telling me what to do and where to sleep. What the F? Crystal Napier, I'm reaching out to her now. We got Crystal on the line here. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know about Crystal, we got you. I don't know about your life, and you're the best mom in the whole wide world, you and Sean, but my 30-pound, 3-foot kid is kicking me out of the bed. Crystal, I have to go to the second bed when he gets in there. Chick 2 is the baby monitor that we have watching the kid as he sleeps. Keeps me up at night because I hear the music we play for the kid. And Chick 2, the baby monitor, is next to my nightstand. And of course we got to have the volume on in case something happens to the kid when he's sleeping, which it never does. Does this happen to you and Sean, Crystal?
Oh, yes. We're struggling with Micah sleeping through the night for some reason. I guess he's in a sleep regression period. So he's waking up in the middle of the night again. And we're like, okay, come on, dude. We need you to sleep through the night. We got to get some rest.
Does Sean get the boot for Micah, or do you all do it together? Is that what happens?
Well, he doesn't sleep in our bed.
Okay.
Micah got kicked out of the bed very early. Like at 3 weeks, he got kicked out of our room because that kid was a snorer and a mover from day one. So
What's Micah tipping the scales at? How tall is my boy Micah?
So Micah is right at 3 feet tall now, 36 inches, and he is 31 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a big boy.
That is awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Wednesdays are for this fabulous person, Crystal Napier. She's the owner of Renee's Boutique, online at reneesboutiquellc.com. She's always looking fabulous and fresh, and she's always offering positive perspective on other entrepreneurs in our community. She's just awesome. Crystal, my friend, the show is yours. Anywhere you want to go.
Thanks, Jerry. So today I was listening to the first part of your show about another company that had their best year yet. And the person I'm going to talk about today had her best year in real estate this year as well.
Nice.
And that's Roxanne Carter-Johnston. She is a Charlottesville area realtor with Nest Realty. And she was a rock star this year. And how she did it, I was talking to her. She said she had mapped out a plan for 2020 to do a lot of in-person home buying seminars. COVID hit. She said it made her extremely nervous, March 2020, and decided to create a pivot plan, which carried her through this year. And I love the part in her pivot plan when she was talking about she created Zooms and networked with other agents to become the expert in her area, which is Fluvanna and Louisa County. And she also has accreditation with At Home with diversity certification in that. And she's accredited buyer's representative, which those skills actually helped her to help her clients map out a buying plan. So it wasn't just about purchasing a home. she really took the time to educate her clients and educate them on the market as well as other agents, and in turn flourished. Her business flourished this year. She said this was the best year that she has ever performed in real estate, which is incredible. And she did that all with being involved with her community. She was recently elected as vice president to our board of directors, Piedmont Housing Alliance,
Nice.
which I'm really excited about. Her and I will be working together in 2021. And she is also a part of CAR, which is Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors. And she is on the diversity inclusion project team for them. And she volunteers with Tandem Friends Schools Advancement Committee.
Get out!
All while being a incredible mother to another entrepreneur, Corey Johnston, who owns his own business, and a mother to 3 gorgeous, intelligent young women. She has a daughter at Howard University and 2 daughters in the Fluvanna High School and Middle School. I have no idea how Roxy does it, but she is phenomenal, and I'm so excited to just spotlight her today and shed some light on the best realtor, I feel, in Charlottesville. She's a rock star.
Oh,
So,
what a great, Crystal, what a great take right there. It sounds like you know her personally.
I do, and I feel like we've really begun to get to know each other because we have served the past year on Piedmont Housing Alliance board, and we are venturing into leadership roles this year, 2021, with Piedmont Housing Alliance. So I'm really excited to chair the board with Roxy and work together with just bringing some wonderful pieces to Charlottesville in the area with our nonprofit organization that we support.
That is awesome. This means a lot to me as well. What is that board like? Can you offer some perspective into how the leadership is done and just what happens?
Yeah, so the leadership that we're new leadership, like literally as of last week, we changed leadership. But the previous leadership was Frank Stoner, Barbara Brown, who is a professor at UVA, as well as Dave Paulson and Diana Burris. Like, these folks have been really passionate about the work that we are doing with Piedmont Housing Alliance. We are very committed to creating affordable housing in Charlottesville. We're also very committed to trying to help bridge the wealth gap in the area, as well as promoting diversity and racial equity. So these are 3 huge pieces, and that's just a broad overview of what Piedmont Housing Alliance does. And the leadership that has been in place, they did a phenomenal job with working and pulling the pieces together. And also Piedmont Housing Alliance has a wonderful, incredible staff. I know you've met Sunshine as well. We have Charlene Green on our team and Latasha Durrett. These folks are really just on the ground. We are all doers, rolling up our sleeves, doing what we can to help our community. And we have big shoes to fill. Our new leadership team, we definitely have big shoes to fill because the previous leadership has really worked hard to get our organization where it is today. And we're very strong and going forward with a lot of wonderful plans to hopefully be game changers in the area.
I love this interview, and I love all her interviews here. Have you and Roxanne and new leadership discussed ideas of continuing? Because you've been involved a while. You guys have a lot of positive momentum that's happening.
Absolutely, we do. Have we discussed? I didn't hear the last part.
I'm curious of what kind of is in store for like 2021. I mean, Piedmont, PHA is crushing. I learned a lot about PHA from the Land Trust and Keith. Mm-hmm. I know you guys got something brewing there. I feel like the momentum for this And I was worried that the momentum for affordable housing would be forgotten or ignored because of COVID, but it's been the opposite. It's been one of the few things that's been able to penetrate this thing that's dominating our lives, which is this pandemic, and remain consistent in a focus and an effort, and that's affordable housing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't see the momentum slowing down at all with the upcoming year. If anything, it's going to pick up because we are getting to the point now where things have been placed, ideas have been put on the table. Now it's like, okay, where's the action at? How are we going to put this into place and make it happen? So I know in 2021, we're going to start the first phase of the Friendship Court redevelopment. So that's going to be really huge. We're still working with Dr. Selena Kozert, who is phenomenal, with trying to make sure that we include in our mission as an organization to have racial equity. How do we become an anti-racist organization truly? Like, not just say it. How do we live and breathe these things that we have discussed and truly make a difference, not only for us, but the community around us? So we have a lot of pieces to work on. And I've told them, honestly, it makes me a little bit nervous because it is an overwhelming task. But it also makes me really excited that we are the ones that are willing to roll up our sleeves and do the work. Happen. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that's what she does. She gets stuff done. She is a doer, a doer. All right, 2 more questions. I want to catch up with what's going on with your business, Renee's Boutique, online, reneesboutiquellc.com. One more, dotting the I's and crossing the T's on Roxanne Carter-Johnston. I mean, the person you outline and spotlighted today sounds like someone who's incredibly great at juggling time, an agent of positive change, and just someone you want to have around your life and be around. I mean, is that a good read here?
She is, and also on the personal aspect, Roxanne helped one of my family members this year become a first-time home buyer. So to be that close with that family member and to know how Roxanne went above and beyond to make her dreams come true, it's just phenomenal to me. It just speaks volumes to who she really is as a person. And it's not just about making the sale. Like, she truly wants to impact her community and make a change with folks when you choose her as your realtor.
Relationships, all about the relationship business. Crystal does that really, really well at Renee's Boutique. I saw a couple days ago, it may have been yesterday, a beautiful lady on your Facebook page, in your dressing room, on your set behind you right there, and just dancing and just like being fresh and just feeling self-confident and just feeling good about herself. It was awesome.
These ladies that have worked with me to make my holiday pop-up shop possible with the modeling, they have been phenomenal. And that's why I do what I do. You know, I love just having fun and making ladies feel even better about themselves, because we're all gorgeous. It's just pieces that we need to enhance sometimes and reassurance that we all need. And it's just been really fun to do these. So this week is actually the last week of my pop-up shops. Friday, I'm going to kind of feel like Oprah, because I'm like giving away so many pieces and discounts, because I want this to be a really fun time. Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. It's very special to me. And I have truly just enjoyed like showcasing my pieces and doing the holiday gift sets for folks to make sure that everyone's holiday is special, because this has been a very tough year. But we have a lot of things to be grateful for. So I'm grateful for all of the ladies that participated. Very grateful to the young lady that's been my graphic designer to help me with that video editing and stuff. Channing, you are phenomenal. And grateful to my husband and Micah for, lending me out, because I have put a lot of time and effort this holiday season into Renee's, but they have been so flexible, and Sean has been very helpful. So I'm blessed.
She is grinding, and it's showing. Renee's Boutique LLC.com. This reminds me, why don't we close on this? And Candice, we're going to go to you very shortly. Laura Van Camp was on this show. She's the owner of Gene Theory downtown. And I asked her.
I know Laura.
You know Laura. I asked her, you're in the business of selling jeans. And she goes, no, I'm in the business of selling self-confidence. And when someone puts on these jeans and they look in the mirror and they fit the right way and someone feels good about themselves and they smile and they buy them and they walk out, that's self-confidence. Anywhere you want to go on that topic?
I feel the same way. I've always said from day one, this is more about, it's more than selling clothes. This is about feeling great about yourself and being comfortable in the skin that you're in. And if I get to do that with pretty pieces and styling you of what I know flatters body types, then game on. Shop Renee.
Nice, Crystal. That was so good. You're awesome. You have a good one. Best move ever was not putting Mike in the bed. I think we're going to try to do that now. You have a good one, Crystal. Say hi to Sean.
Will do. Have a great day and be careful.
You too.
Right.
She is awesome. I love Wednesdays with Crystal Napier of Renee's Boutique, online at reneesboutiquellc.com. Crystal is one of those people where she's just like around and there's positive energy. It's like you just want people like that around you. I love to surround myself, and at this point in my life, will only surround myself with that positive energy. At this point, from a friendship standpoint, a new friend standpoint. All right, Judah, I'm going to reach out to Candice. Now it's ringing as we speak. A lot we're going to cover on today's program. Candice is on the line. This is her second rodeo on the show. Her first rodeo, and I don't know if she knew what she was getting herself into here. And Candice, there we go. I don't know if she knew what she was getting herself into. But the first time we had her on was through Susan Steinmart and the Land Trust. And then she and I just got to talking about real estate and restaurants and what's the next crozet. And I'm like, this lady is a freaking superstar. And like less than 2 weeks later, I'm Facebook messaging her and saying, can you please come back on the show? Because you made us better I think it was 2 Fridays ago. So anywho, here we are. Candice Capasa, how are you?
Hola, how are you?
I'm doing well. So when your family woke up, because I think I get the picture that Justin loves to go sledding. When your family woke up and there was no snow on the ground, were you as disappointed as we were?
Oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard thinking about, because the bribery with the snow, the epic snow, it totally crushed us this morning. Because they were getting dressed and brushing their teeth and so excited. And we're like, yay, snow day tomorrow. And then my son is like, Mom, I don't see any snow. I see the ornaments in the tree still, but there's no snow.
There's no
what
snow,
happened?
I know.
Yeah, that's hard.
Remind me how many kids you have.
I have 2 of the 2-legged, and then my furry buddy Bert, of course, is my first child. So he's under my desk now, actually.
Bert.
Yeah, two kids.
Bert, her furry-legged first child, is under her desk. This is why we love Candice. All right, so Candice, this is what I'm going to throw to you here. Anywhere you want to go on this topic. We are now, today is December 16th, so 15 days away from the end of the year. We just heard Roxanne at Nest Realty, best year in the history of the business. We know you're crushing it. We know Keith and we know everybody's crushing it here. Put 2020 in a recap nutshell for us, and then we'll talk specifics.
Gosh, yeah. I love what Crystal was saying about Roxanne as well, because 2019, planning for 2020, lots of, similar things, in-person get-togethers, in-person seminars, co-teaming with different lenders and affiliates. I've done a lot. I love Katie West at Charlottesville Settlement Company. I know her very well for the last decade. And she and I and Wendy Ellis, the appraiser, we've done a lot of seminars for UVA Credit Union and new home buyer and home seller seminars, which were amazing. And we had so much great turnaround. So in general, my team and I in our 2019 planning in Northern Virginia at a nice spa, little getaway. We're like, okay, in-person seminars, in-person meetings. I've always had like Halloween parties and client appreciation parties at Smoked Kitchen and Tap, the rooftop last year with Crystal Meyer and the Inside Ivy publication. We had like 60 people come, Christian from Top Notch, the credit union, the Jenkins team from Atlantic Bay, Jamie Yao, just everybody. Charlottesville Settlement Company, we were all there, all had a great time, like, yes, this is on a roll, let's do this. And then February hit, we're like, oh, what's gonna happen? I love what Crystal was saying, and like Roxanne and Caitlin and so many realtors. I saw Keith the other day. Yona and I had a couple, I think 2 transactions this year together, and we were chair and vice chair of our economic our emerging technologies team for CAR. Everything changed, but it's still across the board. We're like kind of like walking on eggshells, like bribing the kids about the snow day. It's like, wait, what if it doesn't happen? But this year has been so busy. And I love too, like listening to what Crystal is saying, I can totally see like a quality in the know realtor who's involved in our association, involved in our community, involved with good communication, and in seeing what, this is obviously win-win for everybody end result, but when things happen and we have to take a breath, give confidence to our clients, and again, like selling confidence and selling reassurance that you're making the right decision. This is a big, scary thing. There is uncertainty anytime, anywhere. There's tons of new development that, with high density and apartment complexes and all that. But there's also, a lot of homes that people are wanting to buy and sellers that are hesitant. So 2020, long way to get to your question, but 2020 in a nutshell, lots of revising the way we operate. And I think across all businesses, restaurants, retail stores, everybody had to kind of reevaluate, okay. But the number one constant that I love being, a people person and a people pleaser and in real estate is that, identify the tangible goals, the tangible things that have to occur. Unknowns are going to happen. And we just kind of being intelligent enough and experienced enough, for me, in the real estate industry and the construction industry, in knowing, okay, these are the things, the typical thing. Know what you can change, know what you can't, and be smart enough to know the difference in my own way. That's really what 2020 had to be. And those that are able to strive and, and revise the way that we operate, we're doing well. 2020 has been amazing, especially in real estate, but just knowing how to adapt and knowing how to be communicative and appropriate and stay calm, and carry on.
I'm going to throw multiple questions to you. Give Candice some love, guys. Hit that like button. Della Bennett giving you some props right now. Crystal Napier is returning that props to you as we speak. James King, King Family Vineyards, hello. Welcome to the show. Jeremy Stanwyck, hello. You have 5 different firms watching you here. Real Estate 3, hello. Chris Jensen, hello. Okay, I'm gonna throw this to you here. What we wanted to do, what our mission with this platform is to bring like relatable topics to people. And I'm not nearly as bright as you, but it seems to be now is as good a time as ever to list a house. If there's little competition on the market, your home has an opportunity to stand out more than others. And we know that there are like obscene amount of buyers who are taking advantage of ridiculously low interest rates, or are nervous about living in a densely populated area and find Charlottesville and Central Virginia very appealing. So I guess one of the goals for this platform was to explain to all those that listening that now is a phenomenal time to do it. And that the spring market is not, I don't think, going to happen in April, but probably is going to start booming at the end of January or early February. Your thoughts on any of that?
Totally spot on. Except, you are amazingly talented and intelligent and just a breath of fresh air every time I get to see you or hear you. So,
thank you.
In looking at the third quarter update for 2020 versus last year, it was really interesting. Just in the third quarter alone, attached home median price has actually gone down, and detached homes have gone up over 15%. Oh, crazy. Now, over year through, attached homes have gone up, 4%. But just for the third quarter, I thought that was really interesting. And the main concern that I see is, in the beginning, February, March, when the spring market typically begins Valentine's Day, February 14th. Mid-year, we usually get our wacky, March snow here in central Virginia. But, from like mid-February till mid-March, it's actually people are hustling and getting those last-minute things done. All of the important things your realtor will tell you to do to prepare your home, to prepare your lifestyle, and mentally get ready for this big transition to happen. So that all kind of traditionally happens around that time, but this year in particular, you are absolutely right. Right now, there is still so little inventory, and buyers are out there waiting and ready to chomp at the bit without kids having to go to school. And I love it too this morning, like really virtual school is closed.
What?
But yeah, anyway, whatever. But like without certain stipulations adhering to what our traditional rules were for when it was a good time to sell or a good time to buy. Now, if people will put their home on the market now, things are going. It's funny. I have a great client. He bought a home, renovated it completely. It's under contract. We just put another offer ratified on another property in downtown Charlottesville, and it literally was on the market for like 26 days, and we're like, wow, it's been on a long time.
Really?
That's crazy. But yeah, listing now, having your home appropriate to list now when there's so little inventory is a big plus, because prices aren't, what I've told my clients, some concern is when somebody needs to buy and sell is that, if your home isn't on the market and you're wanting to put a contract somewhere, well, there's no real validity in your angst to do that if your home's not on the market. So you're probably not going to be that attractive. And you're going to have to go at a higher price versus if you're ready to roll. Even though statistically right now we're at 98.6% in single family home and attached home sale price to list price, meaning think you're going to lowball, try again. Yeah. Not going to happen across the board. So if you're priced right and your condition is right, it's going to sell fast. In the spring, you'll have more competition. Money is still cheap. Even people who can buy with cash are like, why not get a loan? It might as well. So money's cheap for a little while. Our economic summit was saying, at least for another year and a half, we're going to have great interest rates and opportunity for buyers. Inventory's low. But in the spring, probably I've got clients now that are like, can we list in January? I'm like, why don't you list now?
Yeah.
You're like, beat the rush. Right. Because the market's going to just crush, and buyers may be like, something else is coming. I'm not going to be that interested. So you're absolutely right in your thought process.
We were chatting with Dr. Lisa Sturdivant, Virginia, economist with Virginia Realtors, and she was saying that she thinks 2021 might be slightly lower than 2020 from a sales volume standpoint, specifically because of the pinch on inventory. And I don't know, why don't we close on this? And you're amazing. Why don't we close on this? Until we have that glut with vaccinations, maybe the consumer confidence follows shortly after the glut with vaccinations. And with the consumer confidence, maybe the floodgates open with then people feeling comfortable to list their house. What do you think?
True, yes. I feel that there are certain people with certain stipulations that are going to be nervous no matter what because of COVID. In that case, price appropriately and have it in the condition to sell fast. Then you don't need a bunch of people coming in your home. Otherwise, alternatively, businesses, again, 2020 was a year of adaptation. And like, I love the dairy market was, thriving through and strong. And they do I love Jody. I've worked with her for so many years now. And they do such a great job. But, surviving and thriving and changing to adapt to what our current reality is was absolutely necessary. So I would suggest that vaccine, no vaccine, thought processes, different people in different ways. We are what we are where we are. And if companies and, working from home, schooling from home, doing all that, I think inventory will go up a little bit. Transaction count may slightly go down, but with new construction still booming and getting back on timeliness, people with homes to sell, pricing it appropriately with a quality professional full-time realtor, I think that we'll still have a really fantastic year. I'm counting on it at least.
I like it. I think that's a great way to end. You are awesome. I will reach out to you again. Thank you for your time,
Absolutely.
Candice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have a good one.
Ya.
She's fantastic.
Me too.
2021. 2021. This is real estate. We don't we're not realtors here. We buy and hold, and we buy, hold, and rent. That's eventually going to be our primary business. Eventually, they uptick the rents on 27 tenants we have, uptick 4% each year, and we have a waiting list because we're in the executive office game. And COVID is putting pressure and squeezing Class A, and that squeezing of Class A is trickling down to B, trickling down to C, and it's flooding to executive office, and that's the game we're in. From my, very layman's perspective, we're about to hear Katie West on this from Charlottesville Settlement Company on why Charlottesville Settlement Company just had their best year yet. Judah, get that ready to go. From my perspective, if we don't have things to sell, how do we just keep that supply chain moving? And right now the inventory is so pinched, and it has to be attributed to people being hesitant about having strangers or extra attention on their home now during COVID. The very interesting thing is my friend Keith Smith just did an $800,000 transaction sight unseen. So the people that bought the home didn't even walk into the house. Now, I know that's an anomaly, and that's not the norm, but the reason I bring that up is technology is allowing the otherwise archaic method of cattle, strangers, people like cattle, stampeding and storming through your house at an open house. That's not how they're shown anymore. So the mindset, which I can understand, everyone's fearful because of COVID. I ain't judging. I'm not judging. To each their own. But obviously the pandemic is making a certain large portion of the selling population hesitant to sell. That's why there's a pinch. And because there's a pinch, the prices are going up. It's supply and demand. And for the prices to go down or stabilize or normalize, 15% uptick in Q3 2020, as Candice just said, for R1 single-family detached, a 15% uptick year over year, that's not healthy. For the prices to stabilize or normalize or get healthy, we need more inventory, supply, and demand. And that more inventory is not going to happen, at least for a portion of the population, until we have a glut in vaccinations. And the glut in vaccinations happen mid-Q1, potentially for 2, 3, and 4 quarters, Q2, Q3, Q4 being absolute obscenely bananas gangbusters. Time will tell. Let's get Katie West's her sound ready to go. She was on the show yesterday. Charlottesville Settlement Company had its best year in the history of the company, and they did more transactions. So how do you have the best year in the history of your business if you are not doing more selling more SKUs or doing more units or more transactions? The way you do is by taking business away from other people. Taking business away from other people. So, Judah, let's get the Katie West sound, General Manager, Charlottesville Settlement Company from Real Talk, Tuesdays and Fridays on the I Love CVille network. She's fantastic. Just like Crystal and Candice, just awesome people. A doer, like a get stuff done. I was going to use a cuss word, but I'm trying to keep from using profanities on this program. She gets stuff done. Judah, 3, 2, 1.
This is our best year ever, and that's across the board. My Lynchburg office, my Withville office, my Wintergreen office, and this office. And all of my joint ventures, everybody is having their best year.
This is the best year in the history of the companies?
Yes.
That's amazing. Congratulations, Katie.
So percentage.
Yeah, and I really think that a lot of ours is due to the fact that with COVID, so many places tried to work remotely and do things a little differently. And what we did was we just kind of potted together here in my office. And everybody in the office has just been super safe outside. And we limited it to one client in the office at a time. We hired a teacher to teach all of the employees' children. Nice. Since they're all exposed to the employees that are all together anyway, we're just keeping them all in-house. And so we don't have that exterior exposure that most people have.
You created your own pod, is what you're saying.
Yes, we did.
What a novel idea.
That's
hire
brilliant.
A teacher. That is brilliant.
How did that work out? Give us the flip book of how that played out.
It has been amazing. Since we were only allowing one client in at a time, we have 3 conference rooms. So we converted one of those into a classroom. We have 6 children. So there are 4 second graders and 2 fifth graders. And we hired someone to help them with their virtual learning because my employees can't concentrate on their work if they're worried about their kids' work getting done. And so the guy that we hired has been excellent with the children. They're all doing extremely well. He takes them to the playground at the church down the parking lot and gets them to exercise and do that sort of thing before he leaves for the day so that they aren't insane in the office. It's great.
That's Katie West, General Manager of Charlottesville Settlement Company. Guys, this show, Thursday show, today is Thursday, Wednesday, December 16th. How about a showcase of like the most empowered, strong, successful, vivacious women in Central Virginia? I mean, Crystal and Roxanne and Katie and Candice just kicking ass and taking names right there. Hiring a teacher at Charlottesville Settlement Company, converting a conference room into a classroom, taking business from competitors, best year in company history in COVID. Yes. Love that. Love that. Couple items out of the notebook that I think are important to you. Put the Danville story on the screen, will you? Danville, Virginia just approved $15 million from Caesars Casino, and Danville's already spending the money. Remember, City Council voted 8-0 in Danville to approve a Caesars Casino for Southwestern Virginia and the city of Danville. They got an upfront payment. Front somebody some money, you know what I'm saying? You got to front the money. You hope you get what you get in the back end. Caesar's fronting the money. Caesar's fronting the money to Danville. Caesar's fronting the money. City Council says, you know what? Got 15 mil here. Danville was broke. We were poor before. Now we got 15 mil upfront money. Let's start spending it. Let's spend that money. Danville's greenlighting $2.9 million of that for a new police station. Another $3 million from the $15 million is expected to go into another development project. They've spent all the $15 million. Now they're looking for more. This is why casinos and cannabis are fast-tracked in the Commonwealth. And I'm going to throw this to you. Has the city of Charlottesville and its leadership offered any perspective, any pursuit, any initiative, any idea, glimmer, anything into casinos and cannabis in Charlottesville? We're hearing from Richmond, we're hearing from Norfolk, We're hearing from Virginia Beach. We're hearing from Lynchburg. Heck, Albemarle County's making a run. Nelson County's making a run. Danville's making a run. Bristol's making a run. Casinos and cannabis. Have we heard anything from Charlottesville city leadership? Nothing. We've heard nothing. One of the few municipalities you've heard nothing from on two topics the governor talks about weekly. Weekly, he talks about. A couple more items that I think you guys should know about. Bankruptcy might be the only solution for AMC Movie Theater chain. It's the #1 cinema chain. The #1 movie theater chain in the world is AMC. They're $750 million in the red. They're not going to do another stock release. Who's going to buy stock at a company that's hemorrhaging? They're passing the hat. They're going to private equity, and they're trying to raise some money. Private equity is not touching this dead, nasty, rabid skunk. And that's what movie theaters are. Dead, nasty, rabid skunk carcasses. Why I bring this up to you is because A, we all love movies, and B, there are 3 of them in Charlottesville, and C, the rents tied to the shopping and dining districts around the 3 movie theaters in Charlottesville are obscenely unrealistic if the movie theaters are not functioning. I'm going to say that again, and that's going to piss some people off. That's going to piss some people off. The rents that are tied to the shopping and dining districts and the businesses that comprise those districts are obscenely inflated if the movie theaters are not functioning and open in said shopping and dining districts. If you're in 5th Street, Station, Stonefield, or around Violent Crown in downtown Charlottesville, your monthly rent is tied to the fact that you have a movie theater next door or 100 yards away. And those monstrosities ain't working right now, and the rent you're paying is not justified or realistic. Those are facts. That's facts. And commercial brokers don't want me to say that, but that is facts. Couple more things. Sweet Green, the salad corporation, the salad chain, Sweet Green, they're about to debut their first Sweet Green with a drive-through. You heard me correctly. Salad restaurant chain Sweet Green will pilot a drive-in restaurant next winter in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. The reason I bring this to you is the following fast food, fast casual, quick serve brands are changing their business model. Sweetgreens, Taco Bell, Burger King, Starbucks, Chipotle, Shake Shack. All of those brands, Chipotle, Shake Shack, Sweet Green, Burger King, Taco Bell, all of them are focusing on the following: a point of sale that is smaller in footprint, that emphasizes pickup in a car or curbside, that emphasizes the transaction or the order through a phone, through a native app that's designed and developed by the brand, released through the App Store, downloadable to your iPhone or your Droid, the menu ordered through the app, and you go to the location without going inside to pick up the food. I bring this up to you because I know we reach more people than any other brand. And a lot of folks that watch the show are small and medium-sized business owners currently or aspiring. If you're considering any kind of food and beverage model and you're not following what the big boys like Shake Shack, Chipotle, Sweet Green, Burger King, and Taco Bell and Starbucks are doing, then you are foolish. Point of sale with a small square footprint that emphasizes curbside, takeout, to go, delivery, and pickup in a vehicle. Please, please. And if anyone thinks a business model with a white cloth napkin as opposed to a paper towel or paper napkin is the right approach, I would say, please, dear God, hang up your apron right now, leave it at your home kitchen, and continue cooking for your neighbors on your street as opposed to trying to open a business. two more items, Judah, and I'm out of here. The UVA-Villanova game is not looking good. Is not looking good. Put your comments in. I'll get to your comments here on Facebook. If you're watching, put your comments in. I'll relay them on air. There's a lot of comments. The Virginia-Villanova game, according to multiple reports, has been canceled, has been postponed, and likely canceled for good. That game was set for Madison Square Garden. This is incredibly unfortunate. It was a matchup of two marquee teams and arguably the two sharpest dressed men's basketball coaches in the NCAA and the Villanova coach and Tony Bennett. I'm not sure this game's going to be played again. The speculation is UVA is not going to play a basketball game until it opens the ACC season against Notre Dame. I mean, you're talking about potentially a month since UVA has played a basketball game. The ACC opener is the 30th of December against Notre Dame. And lastly, Virginia Tech has chosen not to fire Justin Fuente. For the first time since 1992, Virginia Tech football finishes the campaign with a losing record. The speculation was Justin Fuente would be fired. That speculation, however, was after a loss to UVA. Virginia Tech came out in its last game of the season and played inspired football against Virginia, who came to Blacksburg and Lane Stadium as a listless bunch. UVA did. Justin Fuentes stays. Lynchburg School Board has suspended all public school sports in Lynchburg, Virginia. That suspension lasts until the middle of January, if not later. I don't think we're going to have sports, dude. I don't think we're going to have a winter sports season, dude. Public. I mean, if you're UVA basketball has so much damn talent on this roster. There is so much talent on the UVA basketball roster. I am fearful we don't get to a title game, an ACC title game, an ACC tournament, an ACC championship, March Madness. Let's get to some comments. Comment time. Put your comments in the comment section. I asked you this question to begin the program. Oh, let me show you something that's going to make you really happy. Do you have the photos of Curtis Shaver and Jim Carpenter, Judah? I'm going to show you two pictures that are going to make you very happy. First, Jim Carpenter's. Tell me put Jim Carpenter's on the screen. Jim Carpenter is a photographer that's been in the business for 50 years, Jim? Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen now. I think this is the picture of the year in 2020. Look at the screen. A kid wanting to do a photo with Santa, but keep it on the screen, Judah. Keep it on the screen, please, sir. A little boy, this means so much to me, especially now being a father. A little boy desperately wanting to talk to Kris Kringle, but COVID won't allow it. Jim Carpenter took this at Farmington Country Club. And that little boy has to say hi to Kris Kringle, to St. Nick himself, through a plain glass window with a Christmas tree decorated behind him. That's the photo of the year. That's the photo of the year from my standpoint in COVID. Now, how about one from, this photo is going to make you happy. Curtis, you ready for this one? Let's get Curtis Shaver on screen. If you missed yesterday's show, I spent 30 minutes with inner circle friend Curtis Shaver, just shooting the you-know-what and drinking, was it milk and cookies, Judah? It was a play on a White Russian. I think it was milk and cookies, right? Yeah. Milk and cookies. Look at Curtis in his holiday outfit. That guy's a jolly SOB right there, Curtis Shaver. I love that photo, Curtis. Look at the screen. That's Curtis Shaver, co-owner Peloton Station. Looking jolly. Very jolly, Curtis Shaver. All right, comments. Johnny Ornella says, Roxanne Carter-Johnston is a great person, and he highly recommends Corey Johnson Electric. Ashley Palmer's watching the program. What's up, Ashley Palmer? Que pasa, chica? Candice has a comment. Charlottesville Settlement Company staff are amazing. So innovative to hire the teacher for their team to grow their business this year. I agree, Candace. Andy Wilfong. I love when you watch the show Andy Wilfong. Andy Wilfong, someone needs to buy the Fork Union Drive-In and actually do something with it. Amen. Fork Union Drive-In and do something with it. That's from Andy Wilfong. Candace says Rachel Burns has the best Christmas sweater selection. Rachel Burns. I love Rachel Burns. Aberdeen Barn. Rachel likes it. Bourbon, Rachel likes it. Doing deals, Rachel likes it. Partying and having fun with friends, Rachel likes it. Rachel should come on this show with some Christmas sweaters on. And maybe we can get Rachel Burns to model Christmas sweaters for us on the I Love CVille show. That would be dope. Rachel, will you model Christmas sweaters for us on the I Love CVille show? Like the various ones you have? That would be awesome. I think that would be destination appointment television if Rachel was doing that. More comments we need to get to on the program. All right, James Watson. I got to get to James's comment. So the question I asked was this. Dairy Market and Dairy Central are now open, right? Dairy Market and Dairy Central are now open. The question I asked, in the last 20 years, can anyone name a development real estate project that has had a greater impact on the city of Charlottesville than what I think Dairy Market and Dairy Central will have? Remember, Dairy Market is not only the food hall and not only home to Star Hill and all these awesome food purveyors and vendors, but it's also Dairy Central, a massive apartment epicenter, and it's also going to be the home of some major employers, including Dexcom, a publicly traded company. So you have a live, work, play situation at Dairy Market and Dairy Central. This is going to create massive new amount of jobs. This is going to be the Tony or popular place to shop and eat at for as long as the novelty remains fresh. You're going to have a lot of people living here and a lot of people working here. In particular, a lot of people from outside the area coming to work here for these big-time employers. And another topic that's not being discussed, and it's a topic we should consider, is Dairy Market and Dairy Central will undoubtedly gentrify the 10th Street, 10th and Page neighborhood. And the 10th and Page neighborhood is a historically African-American neighborhood. So that's a topic that undoubtedly will happen that is certainly not being discussed as much. So I need to bring this topic to you. In the last 20 years, what real estate development project has had the greatest impact on Charlottesville City? Because I think Dairy Market and Dairy Central, when we reflect on its impact, we don't know today how significant the impact of this project will be 5 years from now. We do not know that. It will be significant, and I think we're even underestimating today what's going to actually happen down the road. The only one that comes to mind to me that can compare is West Main and the West Main streetscape and what Alan Kajin and Gabe Silverman did with revitalizing Midtown. When I arrived here in 2000 as a first year at the University of Virginia, you either stayed on the UVA corner, you didn't go past Orbit. That was when Borland Heights used to be there. It used to be called Orbit. We didn't go past Orbit, and if we were going to go downtown, which we didn't do that often, we didn't do it by walking down West Main, because West Main and Midtown were sketchy, like super sketch. Now you look at West Main, and Peter Castiglione and Christian Kelly at Maya Restaurant had a lot to do with this as well. Now you look at West Main Street is like the coolest restaurants in town. And that has a lot to do with Silverman, Gabe, and Kajin, Allen, and what they did. James Watson says, here's some other ideas to consider: the Ice Park, the Sprint Pavilion, the movie theater, the Paramount Theater, the ice rink, live arts, a combo of projects that took the downtown mall to a different level, although that isn't exactly a single project. Good comment. He says that's a hodgepodge or a conglomerate and an aggregation of a lot of projects made the downtown mall a reality, but he admits that's not one specific project. I still think that's a good contribution, James Watson. James King said, Jerry, you made a classic dad mistake. Never make a promise you can't keep, but I'm guilty as charged too. And that's when I promised my kid if he slept through the night and didn't make noise on the baby monitor, enough noise that wakes up mommy, and if mommy wakes up, daddy wakes up, and if daddy wakes up, baby boy is in the California King, and somehow a 3-foot, 30-pound baby boss in a California King gets daddy to sleep on the second-rate bed. It's a freaking California King, and he's 3 foot tall. How does he kick daddy out and get mommy to yell at daddy to sleep somewhere else? You know why? Because the 3-foot baby boss is not sleeping the normal way. Who sleeps horizontally in the bed instead of sleeping vertically? Baby boss. Patty Zeller says Ix Art Park and Ix Park are a project that can compete with Dairy Market and Dairy Central. That's a good idea. Ix was sketchy. Ix was super sketch. Remember? Now look at Ix. Three Notch, my favorite brewery. Brazzo's got banging tacos. Best retail joint in the Commonwealth is over there. Animal Connection. Got a bike shop. You got Studio Ix. You got Saki. You got the place where all the concerts are happening. And the farmer's market is now basically at Ix. Ix commandeered the farmer's market from the city of Charlottesville. That's pretty much what happened. Ix is a good suggestion. Ix is a good one, Patty Zeller, Animal Connection. Are we going to do Animal Connection? Are we going to do What's Barking Local tomorrow at 3 because of the weather, Patty? Let me know. I'm happy to do it. Normally it's today at 3. Let's do it tomorrow at 3, Patty. We need to get Animal Connection far and wide right before Christmas, please. Erica Renee. Ooh, Green Dogs Unleash. This is Erica Renee. Oh, this is in regards to Campbell County. If you're just tuning into the program, I'm going to dot the I's and cross the T's. Campbell County, Virginia, its Board of Supervisors, the Congressman, U.S., of the 5th District that lives in Campbell County, they literally are saying, coño su madre, and flicking their what's this move? Is this the move, Judah? Is this the move that the older ladies would do when they were upset? Is it this?
I don't know about upset. That means F you.
Right. That means they're upset. That's what that means, right? So Campbell County is doing this to Governor Northam. They're partying in bars without masks with strangers until last call and groups of hundreds. And Bob Good is in this group of people partying in bars without masks on until last call in Campbell County. As Campbell County, Virginia says to Ralph Northam and his restrictions. That literally is happening right now. I'm not making that up. That is happening right now. Erica Renee says the problem is people will get sick and seek medical attention for the virus they don't believe in while exposing our healthcare workers. If people refuse to believe in science and take precautions, they should be barred from seeking science to fix their stupidity. That could be the comment of the year. Erica Renee, if you were in house, I'd give you a chest bump. Actually, I can't give you a chest bump because there's COVID. I give you props. Erica Renee is exactly right. If people refuse to believe in science and take precautions, they should be barred from seeking science to fix their stupidity. Can I give her some props? Where's the sound machine? James King says, congratulations to Jody and team. I can't wait to bring my family into town to enjoy Dairy Market. Kevin Higgins. Hello, Kevin Higgins. He says, this Riggleman story triggered a thought with me. I invite all your viewers to meet me on the downtown mall, and I will be their tour guide as we search for elusive city leadership. Instead of charging a tour guide fee, your viewers can donate to businesses. I bet we see Bigfoot first. Oh, God, that was so funny. Denver Riggleman in his new book admits he paid thousands of dollars on 2 occasions to go into the West Virginia woods with a sketchy tour guide to search for Bigfoot. Kevin Higgins says, we don't need to go to the woods to find Bigfoot. Let's do it here on the downtown mall. We'll do a tour and search for city leadership that is non-existent. Kevin Higgins. Damn. Erica Renee says, I have 2 and sometimes 3 kids in the bed. You're a superwoman. I cannot do that. I have a 3-foot baby boss and I have to leave. Crystal Napier, I loved her story. That's from Patty Zeller. James Watson says, unlike Atlanta and Richmond, we've got limited land and urban ring in Charlottesville. Just like we did before COVID, he's exactly right. Ooh, Patty's going to be here tomorrow, Thursday at 3 o'clock for What's Barking Local. Patty, that makes me extremely happy. Candice says, my kids sleep sideways as well. Not only does my kid sleep sideways, but he kicks me in the ribs. He sleeps sideways. His head is directed at my wife's rib cage. So the only way he can head my wife is if he literally headbutts her ribs. However, his little feet and the Strider Velcro shoes, well, I guess he doesn't wear those in bed, but he has Striders, the Velcros. He kicks me. He doesn't know he's kicking me, but he's kicking me. I just go to the second-rate bed. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get any sleep. I'll just go to the second-rate bed. It's better than getting my ribs kicked by my soon-to-be 3-year-old 3-foot baby boss. Rose LeMaster, have you watched the program in a while? Rose, you haven't commented on the show in a while. We welcome you to the show, Rose. Rose says, when I grew up, we were taught to respect our elders above just about all else. But now, we have become a country that says it's only X amount who have died, literally okay with watching the greatest generation killed off by selfishness and self-centered ignorance. Wow. Rose, thank you for offering your perspective to all of us. I appreciate that, Rose. We appreciate the perspective. Roxanne says, thank you, Crystal. All right, we got to go. We got a conference call here. That's the show. I need to do a daily digest. I've taken a brief hiatus on the daily digest. I will get back today. It's the entire show in 5 minutes or less, 5 days a week, at 5 o'clock on the I Love CVille network. It's the Daily Digest. Very proud to announce that our partnership with Ting is extended throughout 2021 and through Q1 of 2021, as both Ting and the I Love CVille network have been beyond our expectations, the positive results of this partnership. Thank you, Ting, for joining us for another 90 days in Q1. Also, I want to emphasize this, and I should get him on the show. Alex Erpe, a forward Adelante, is going to launch a Spanish-centric show with his family on this network. And on this show, we are going to spotlight the Spanish community. The Spanish radio station was shut down because of COVID. Ad sales weren't there. They couldn't meet overhead. Shut down. There is no true resource, outlet, or platform that offers positive perspective or attention for the Hispanic community in Charlottesville and across Central Virginia. And darn it, that's not right. So we're going to step up and help fill that niche on this network. In January, you will see a Spanish-centric program on the I Love CVille network, spearheaded by our friend Alex Erpe. Good show today. We worked hard on. We busted our tail on today's show. I don't know if you could tell, but we busted our tail on today's show. You guys have a good one. My name is Jerry Miller for Judah Wickhauer and the most empowered, strong, amazing women: Crystal Napier, Candice Vanderlyn, Katie West, and Jody Mills. This is the I Love CVille show, and it shows the best of Charlottesville, Virginia. So long.